Welcome back. It is 4:45 on your Friday. We're getting you ready for another warm one here, but overall some improvements as we head into the upcoming weekend here with lower humidity coming in. Take a look at hour by hour today. We do have a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, but I do think this evening, if you're heading out for a nice Friday evening in the town or maybe heading out to Friday night football, doesn't look too bad. We'll be looking at the 80s once the sun starts to go down, and then some drier air coming in for the weekend. Now, we're going to stay warm this weekend, but with a northerly wind, these 90s are going to feel like the 90s. And look at your morning, Saturday and Sunday morning, 69 to 67 north of the lake and mid to low 70s here south of the lake. So for St. Sunday, tailgating early will start out in the 70s. It'll get into the 80s by the time the game kicks off at noon. But overall, it looks like a pretty nice weekend for us coming up, whether you're going out to Tulane, LSU, or to the Saints game. Now, the tropics are still very, very active. We are getting into the peak of the season. We still have no tropical threats to the Gulf or the Caribbean, but we now have two named storms. Hurricane Lee is a Category 5 this morning, and we have Tropical Storm Margot. Margot is going to stay out to sea, but Lee's the one that has everyone's attention, of course, as it is now a Category 5. And it looks like it could get even stronger. You could see this morning just a tiny eye. It maybe is trying to got a little disrupted, but it will likely continue to maintain this intensity over the coming days. You can see passing north of the islands. That's great news, but there it is strengthening. They have it up to a 180-mile-per-hour hurricane. There's only ever been 7 hurricanes that strong or stronger in the Atlantic basin. So really, really rare instances here with this hurricane. And then as it gets towards next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, it begins to slow down, and then that's when it starts to make that turn. But whether you're in the Turks and Caicos or Bermuda, still keeping a very close eye on this because that turn is extremely important on who sees impacts and what this does down the road. So for now, it's still riding around that ridge of high pressure. That ridge will slow it down some into Monday and Tuesday, and then that's when it starts to make that turn. But you can see as we get into next week, there's still that widespread. Some models get it closer to the Turks and Caicos. Some models turn it a bit sooner. Then as we get into the middle and into next week, it starts to get pulled to the north. This is going to get pulled to the north, but the big question still remains, how close does it get to New England? How close does it get to the Canadian Maritimes as we get into the end of next week and next weekend? So those zones, especially up here in New England and up towards areas like Halifax, watching this very, very closely. Bermuda's watching it closely, and still the Turks and Caicos are watching it closely. We'll keep you updated on it, but it is a massive hurricane. And while it's probably not going to be that strong, once it gets up towards the north there in the northern Atlantic, it's going to be a massive storm producing quite a bit of rain and surge and waves. Here's our 7-day forecast. Not looking too bad as we get into the weekend. We'll look at the lower humidity, still in the 90s, but feeling okay. And then next week, we'll have another front approaching us around Wednesday, Leslie. That'll bring us a chance for some rain as well.